Hello everybody, hopefully you're having a wonderful, fantabulous, and mystical day. Over in the mystical side of life, we're going to be working on some card art stuff for our portfolio. But before we get into that, my name is Emmanuel Aguilar, aka Mystic Fox 4, and I'm an artist. I like to draw things. So let's hop into it. So we're going to talk about three things. One, we're going to talk about what our card game is based on. Two, we're going to talk about the companies that or other games that we're kind of using as inspiration and examining the type of card game that they do, like the playmat. And then three, we're going to talk about the concept around hours and how they're similar. Okay, so what games are we using as reference? Now, there was a lot of card games on the market that I thought would fit the bill or that I thought would be similar to our card game, but I wanted to keep it, I wanted to have AAA companies because it's something to strive for. B, I wanted to use things that I liked and were visually pleasing. And C, I wanted to just have a good tang to it, have a nice twist to it. So that's the reason why I use multiple companies. So for starters, I used Hearthstone, right? The game Hearthstone. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. There was a kind of tease for it back in 2014 at BlizzCon from the company by Blizzard. From the company Blizzard. It's fairly popular. A lot of people play it online, and we will be using the playmat for the reference on that. Now we're also using a secondary reference for the buildings in the corners, because the playmat of the Hearthstone has 4 corners, but I didn't want to use the same type of buildings that the originally game had. I wanted to use buildings kind of with my own kind of idea, but I wanted to use the color palettes and the kind of method of doing them from another game called Plants vs. Zombies 2 Garden Warfare. Now, some of you guys may or may not be familiar with this game. It is very fun. It's a great game to play with friends. I personally have only played it maybe a handful of times just because I don't really have a computer or anything to play it on. So, let's hop into the second portion. Now, we have already dictated what it is that we're kind of doing. Now we're going to talk about our card game and like the whole idea around it, and like how we're similar to finish it off as the third thing. So, what is our card game? So my card game for my portfolio is going to be a zombie card game. It's going to be humans versus zombies. Now, I think originally Plants vs. Zombies was humans versus zombies, but because of their age range and their audience, they were kind of aiming for something a little bit more, appropriate for like 10-year-olds. So, they made it a little bit more PG, right? So they made it Plants vs. Zombies instead of humans versus zombies. But I don't work there, so I don't know. But the idea around my card game is humans versus zombies. Now, the difficult part for this is making both sides appealing. And originally when I was doing card art for them, which I'm not going to show in this video because my portfolio is still not out. But originally the idea was, it's a group of kids that ditch school and they go to one of their houses. They're playing kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, but it's called Caves and Cob Monsters. The dad gets home and they get in trouble and oh no! And then the dad turns into a zombie and it's the beginning of the zombie apocalypse. So now all the kids have to defend themselves from their dad, and he brought friends. So that's the basis of it, right? So the idea around the playmat is going to be the main character's book, Max. So Max is the name of the main character, which you see on screen eventually. He is actually one of the cards that's on the mat. I'm not going to show you very specifically which one it is because like I said, my portfolio is not out. So things may change. But he is the main character. He carries a composition book with him, and that composition book is what I wanted to be the playmat. I was thinking a lot about Hearthstone and how the basis of it is the playmat. I mean, is a box, right? And you play it once you recall your Hearthstone from World of Warcraft. So I like that idea a lot. So I wanted to take that and I wanted to apply it to my own game. So when I say study with me, it's really just, for this episode at least, a dissection of how other companies and games do things and how I'm applying them into my own world or my game. In this case, my portfolio. So we saw how Hearthstone made their board game and how it's based roughly around a box. So mine is going to be based around a book. I want to have the characters open the book and be like, okay, guys, what are we going to do now that everyone's breaking in? Max whips out the book, drops it on the table, flips through a couple pages. You see pop-ups and things. And then, boom, it gets to the playmat. It's like, and then that's when the game starts. It's like, let the round begin. So, humans versus zombies, and each side has different things. But for the first season of cards, it's going to be house defense. So, it's going to be the kids basically defending themselves from the zombies, and then it concludes with, a big bang. I can't say what it is yet because my portfolio is not out yet, so I'm trying not to give too many spoilers here, ladies and gentlemen. So, so we're just going to run on this with things that you see on the screen. So, you see how our card game works now. Roughly, kind of, it's humans versus zombies. Humans are more based on defense, and zombies are based more on attack. But, things flip-flop around because it's a card game, and it's based loosely on a comic that I want to create. So, we know what our game is. Now, what would be the environments that are in there? So, like I mentioned earlier, Hearthstone has a reference with four little models of buildings in the corners. So I wanted to do my own take on that because a lot of people kind of don't use that much. Or not that they don't use it, but I haven't seen it around very often in other card games. I do see different types of environments and things like that, but nothing very Hearthstone-y. And I think it's because another basis of Hearthstone is having fun and enjoying the game. Whereas other games, I feel maybe would be a little bit more competitive in the sense of we're doing things and fighting against these people and we're gonna win. Where in my game, I want it to be quick and to the point, but I want it to be enjoyable, right? There are going to be cards that are just fun, that are random, and there's no actual way to control those cards. But I do want it to be, somewhat competitive at the moment. This may change later on by adding more random cards to chance. But as of now, we're just going with that. So, that is the two things that I wanted to talk about. The last one being what the environment, or not what the environment is, but how we applied what we learned, right? So I talked a little bit about it here and there, but I think given all the things that I've already said, I basically summed it up. But we're just going to take this short amount of time to bring everything together. So, we have the Hearthstone playmat we're going to utilize, the buildings we're going to utilize. But for the buildings, instead of using the actual buildings, we're going to use the buildings from Plants vs. Zombies, Garden of Warfare 2. Reason being is because they have a really good palette for separation of identity, meaning what buildings are from zombies and what buildings are from the plants because the color palettes, right? And you'll see that a little bit later on the side of my notes that you see on the screen while I'm actually studying, because this isn't being recorded real time. You will see me write a couple of notes there. Feel free to read them. They do apply to this whole conversation. So, that's about it. I don't know if I mentioned it, but the playmat for my card game is going to be a composition book that the main character, the protagonist, uses to plan things out. And he slaps it on the table, he opens it, and then the game starts. So, And then the corners I'm feeling will probably be changing through different pages, so I will have them depending on the season. So like season 1, it's house defense, so obviously it's going to be like a neighborhood on one side, and then things that you would find near a neighborhood, like a school or like a retirement home or something like that. And then or a hospital. And then the next season, I don't really know yet. I don't want to give any spoilers, but I am basing them off of very generic kind of ideas of zombie apocalypses, like things you've seen in films maybe, but doing my own twist on them. Like something happens there that the story was pushed that direction that made us use that pack now. So that's about it, guys. I know some of you guys may not like card games, so don't worry about it. I will be uploading another video soon, mainly being because like I said, I know you guys aren't very interested in it, but I did want to show some of the stuff that I've been working on. That being the reason why I may not upload, or I'm doing other things, because it's between working on my portfolio, juggling commissions, and just living life, So sometimes there's a little bit of a seep in the crack that falls in that I'm just like, I gotta work on my portfolio. It's more important right now. So yeah, if you guys like the video, make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, but preferably hit the like button, because the more you guys smash it, the more people can see these videos and find our little corner in the YouTubes. So and if you liked the video, comment down below. What part of it did you like? Do you want me to talk about more card games and things that I enjoyed in the next one? I will probably not be making too many videos based on my portfolio, simply because, it's my portfolio, so it's a little private. I mean, it's gonna be public eventually, but at the moment, it's very, don't talk about it too much. But if you want me to talk about other card games and see different mechanics, comment down below. Like, hey, Mystic Fox, there's a mechanic in Magic the Gathering that I thought was really cool, and I think you should use it in your card game. Cool. Comment down below. Let me know. I think that's about it. I'm just gonna let the video play so you guys can see what it looks like when I study real time. That way, you guys can maybe apply some of the stuff that I do to what you do, because a lot of what I'm doing right now and kind of conceptualizing a video game is thinking about the game and how it impacts not only you but the players, because it's always fun and interesting to make things like that, because if it's something you enjoy, then why not share it with the world and create something new out of it? So it's getting those central theory, like the central idea of a game, and making something new out of it. So with that being said, as always, guys, don't forget to stay mystical. Boop.